ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Fifth chapter, first sloka. अथ पंचमोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच संन्यासः कर्मयोगश्च संन्यासं कर्म कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च संशसि यच्छ्रेय एतयोरेकम् तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच संन्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्म संन्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते। So now we have entered into the fifth chapter. The first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which presented the problem of samsara experienced by Arjuna. Raga, Shoka, Moha. The attachment, grief and delusion. And Arjuna discovered surrender to Bhagavan, which is a big blessing. And he expressed his desire to be guided. He became Shishya. So when you become Shishya, then the wise person becomes Guru. Otherwise, wise person remains only as a wise person. He is enjoying, she is enjoying his or her wisdom. Doesn't have pressure to be a wise person, pressure to be a teacher. But when somebody is coming in front of him as a Shishya, he becomes a Guru. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna was a friend so far, now he became a Guru. And he started giving the solution in the form of Atmajnanam. Atmajnanam is the solution to the problem of samsara. And then in the second chapter, Bhagavan said that for Atmajnanam to happen, the preparedness is required, which is by Karma Yoga. So he talked about Dana Yoga leading to Jnanam as the means for moksha, Karma Yoga as the means for preparedness. And then he talked about the Lakshana of a wise person. Then third chapter, Arjuna had questions whether karma is better or dhanam is better. Then Bhagavan said there is no choice between dhanam and karma. Both are required. First karma is required to prepare and then jnanam is required to get moksha. So there is no choice. But there is a choice in lifestyle. There can be pravritti marga, nivritti marga. The lifestyle characterized by the activities, performance of activities, and lifestyle characterized by withdrawal from the activities. One is called karma yoga, other is called sannyasa. And Bhagavan elaborated this karma yoga sadhana. Then the fourth chapter, again Bhagavan talked about the jnana karma sannyasa, the renunciation of karma based on wisdom. Now, fifth chapter, Arjuna is asking this question. What is this question? That Arjuna, Bhagavan, you are, hey Krishna, karshati bhakta dukkhan nivarayati iti Krishna. One who removes the dukkha of bhakta is called Krishna. Or karshati akarshati, one who attracts everybody is Krishna. So, hey Krishna, you are talking about the renunciation of karma and you are also talking about the performance of action in the form of karma yoga. And both of them are opposite. Either I can withdraw from karma or I do karma. I cannot do both. So you tell me of these two which one is good. And tell me sunishitam. In a very ascertained manner you tell. Don't say A B T K, O B T K. This also okay, that also okay. I want, tell me one. Because both I cannot do. So Bhagavan is telling in the next sloka, giving the answer, which may be a little bit irritating to Arjuna initially. What Bhagavan says? Sannyasa karma yogasya nishreyasa karo ubhau. Again Bhagavan says, sannyasa and karma yoga, both of them are conducive, contributory to moksha. Means whether you lead the lifestyle of karma yogi or lead a lifestyle of a sannyasi, both lifestyles can contribute to this moksha by pursuing the jnana. In karma yoga, in grihastha ashrama also one can pursue knowledge, and in sannyas also one can pursue knowledge, and knowledge is going to give the moksha. Whether person stays in the hostel or stays in the house, what preparedness, preparation, that is going to give him the admission or success. So similarly Bhagavan says both are okay. But Bhagavan, when he said, Arjuna must have made a face, what Bhagavan, again you are telling like this, what is this? So Bhagavan said, okay, you want to hear one? Then he said, okay, let me tell you. So you have been after me to give me one answer, I will give you the answer. Tayoho tu. However, between these two, karma sannyasat, compared to the renunciation of action, karma yoga vishishyate, karma yoga is better. And here, we may think that if karma yoga is better, then why people are taking sannyasa? Swamiji, why you are taking sannyasa? You also should have remained in karma yoga. And you took sannyasa after knowing this Bhagavad Gita or before? After studying. So why you took sannyasa? So for that, one particular principle of communication is to be understood, which is beautifully given in one shloka, which says, Desha Kala Vayovastha Buddhi Shakti Anurupataha Dharmopadesha Bhaishajyam Vaktavyam Dharma Paragehi. So it's a very beautiful shloka which says, any advice, any teaching, any suggestion should be given based on certain factors. Don't I give any one sab rog ki ek dawa, means one medicine for all disease. That is not correct. You should give the upadesha appropriately. What are the factors to be kept in mind? Desha. What is the place? If somebody is in the hospital and asks you some small thing, so you should tell very briefly. Otherwise his turn will go away. Yesterday somebody was telling Swamiji, I went for eye checkup and so many other things happened, so he could not do it. So when place is not appropriate, you should not tell. In marriage, some marriage function, you have gone for wedding function, and somebody, how is your classes? So you should not say, Arey, Swamiji is talking about Vairagyam, and he tells that in this samsara there is no sara, nobody belongs to anybody. You have come to marriage function. So here you should not talk like this. With great difficulty, this bridegroom has become ready to get married. and and he overhears this, by God, he will run away. So therefore, we should see what is the place. The appropriateness. In Sanskrit there is a very beautiful word, uchitagnata. Uchitam janati iti uchitagnaha. And his quality is called uchitagnata. That is very, very important in life. Many people, they have got knowledge, but they do not know where to use the knowledge. How to use it. When it should be given, they don't know. Where it should be given. So desha, you have to see which place you are talking. In some cremation ground, you should not talk about party. Tomorrow we'll have nice music party, we'll have nice party. Hey, this fellow here, this cremation ground you have come. There you should not talk. Desha. Kala. Time. Time also you should see. The person is already feeling very sleepy. Kala, night, 10:30. And at that time he asks you about Vedanta class or something, you should say everything okay. That time you should not elaborate about this Vedanta. So your teaching, sharing should be in keeping with the time. What is time? And vayaha, the age of the person. If child asks some question, Swamiji, what is this in Vedanta? So then I have to tell him in a very simple thing that you are acceptable. You need not feel any way inferior to anyone. That's Vedanta. So I have to talk to the person considering his or her age. To him he should not say that Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of this world is you. Chaitanya Swarupa, that is Chaitanya, you are Chaitanya, therefore you are Brahma. That will not work. So there you have to tell. I generally, this point I emphasize. To children, if you want to teach Vedanta spirit, teach this. What? I am, you are not superior to, inferior to anyone. I am acceptable. I am lovable. That is the message of Vedanta. And we are not telling a lie. Vedanta is telling this, that you are not inferior. You are Brahman. Where is question of inferior? But we are putting in the language of children. The children have this peer pressure. Oh, see, my father is not coming to pick me up, and my father is not getting me this toy, this gadget. This peer pressure is there, so I am no good. So we have to tell that you are good, you are acceptable. So vayaha, age also we have to see. Then avastha, in which condition the person is. Somebody has lost his or her spouse, and at that time you say, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati. Person is highly perturbed. It is a big and person accident happened and he or she lost. And in that situation you give this Nainam chindanti shastrani, Atma is not cut by the weapons, Atma is not burned by fire, etc. That's not. Person is not in the state of hearing that. He is so disturbed. That Upadesha you can give later. Right now, you can say, yes, it is very painful. It's a big loss. You empathize with the person. And you give a hug, whatever, touch the person and make the person feel, I am with you in your moments of pain. That is what is required. That time Upadesha is not required. Don't give Upadesha. In fact, that person also is attending Vedanta class with you. So he doesn't require, he knows all Daidam Chindantri. So that time he said, yeah, it is very painful. I pray that Bhagavan gives you the capacity to go through the situation. That's what you should say. Prayer, sympathy, that is what is required. Don't give Upadesha that na jayate mriyate, Atma is never born, Atma never dies, Atma is Brahman. That is not required. So, because person is not ready. So when person is ready, that time you give Upadesha. Right now not ready. So avastha also, mental condition or physical condition. Person is having lot of pain. And you gave him Upadesha, you are Asanga, you are Asanga. He said, I know it, So at that time he said, yes, it is painful. Yeah, so I pray for you. And slowly it will go away. I am there with you. If any way I can help you, please tell me. That is what is required. Some people, they don't have this sense of appropriateness. So wherever you go, Vedanta rifle was ready. Fatapat. Not correct. Vedanta is to be used only when person is in the condition of listening. Next one is Buddhi. The IQ level, the development of the Buddhi. We have to see that some people did not have certain background, and therefore if you talk to them in a very, very refined language, they will not understand. You have to talk to them in their own language where they can relate to. So somebody who don't have formal education and you can say that, oh, everything is energy, matter is only this energy in motion, etc., that they will not understand. So they will, you can say that, see, behind all rotis there is a mata. So you can say, so you can talk to them in that language. Amma, see, you are wearing, or Appa, whatever, Amma only did not be. Amma or Appa, see, you are wearing these different ornaments, but all are gold or not? Gold only. So similarly, behind everything there is same Paramatma. Person will understand you. So we have to talk in keeping with the level of the Buddhi, development of Buddhi. And this education background, this other background, how much person has studied? Most of you might not have studied Tarka Shastra. So if I say that here Hetu Vyabhichara is there, what will you understand? Hetu Vyabhichara, you don't understand. Violation of this reasoning. So I have to explain this. Sadhya bhavad vrittitvam. Suppose I say like this, what will you understand? It has got some sense in Tarka Shastra. But if you don't have background, and if I talk in that language, what will happen? Already number is very less. Therefore, please, we have to talk in keeping with the intellectual background of the person. And Shakti. Whenever you give any advice, you make sure that person is physically fit, emotionally fit. If the person is having so much emotional dependence on someone, and you give the Upadesha that you run away from this person, drive away that person from your life, etc., it doesn't work. You can say, you can have 1 hour break where you are with yourself. Half an hour break that you can take. So person has got that much power. Somebody is highly talkative, and you tell that you keep 3 days mauna. What is this? The person will go crazy. So person will have to be taken to hospital, mental hospital. That type of situation will happen. Therefore, what you should do? You tell him that when you are eating, that time you keep powder. Start with small. Always start with a small dosage. When somebody asks me for the japa, etc., I said you do 5 minutes japa. I don't say 1 hour japa every day. That's not correct. You see what is the capacity of the person. Some people give all big advice, not considering ground reality. So one has to see what is the strength of the person. Person is already weak, and every now and then he gets this low sugar, and you tell him to do 3 days upvasa. That is, person will be in trouble. Therefore, Upadesha, any Upadesha should be given keeping the capacity of the person. If capacity is not there and you give Upadesha, it will have a harmful effect. So, Bhagavan Shri Krishna also is considering that Arjuna, who is in front of him, for him, compared to sannyasa, the renunciation of action, performance of action with proper attitude is better. And Arjuna is a representative of this most of the people in humanity. So Arjuna is a representative of majority. And therefore, for majority, what is the better proposition? Tayostu karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. Karma yoga is better than karma sannyasa. And let us understand, karma yoga and sannyasa, they have got advantage from particular angle. In the last class we had seen that as far as this preparedness is concerned, to attain preparedness, karma yoga is better than sannyasa. So in terms of getting preparedness, karma yoga is better than sannyasa. In terms of conduciveness for the pursuit of moksha, for a person who is ready, sannyasa is better. It is something like Ayurveda is better or allopathy is better. It depends. When some emergency is there, even Ayurveda person will say, oh, let us go to the allopathy hospital. They may be making fun of allopathy so much. Allopathy is like this, allopathy is like this. But they themselves will take to allopathy. But for some chronic disease, the doctor themselves will say that Ayurveda is good. I know one doctor, he is MD. So he tells that Swamiji, here Ayurveda works well. So certain chronic disease, when you want to deal with at a root level, Ayurveda is better. So we cannot make blanket statement. Ayurveda is the best. That's not correct. Or allopathy alone is the best. That's not correct. In fact, that way I see that allopathy people are more objective. They accept the limitation of allopathy. Ayurveda people are sometimes feeling little inferior, and therefore say, no, Ayurveda alone is great, allopathies are like this problem. They talk so much problem about allopathy. Allopathy people don't talk so much about the limitation of Ayurveda people. They are confident and they are aware of the limitations. There are some Ayurveda people who have got objectivity. But balanced approach is what? In certain situation, Ayurveda is better. In certain situation, allopathy is better. So depending upon your situation, person will say that for you allopathy is better. Right now some bullet has gone into. That allopathy, Ayurveda you cannot do. Some lepa I will do, so bullet will come out. No, it will not happen. You have to take out surgically. Allopathy is better. And asthma is there and it has to be removed. So many years person is taking, but antihistamine is not working. So Ayurveda will help. Some kashaya, Dashamularishta or something. I think Dashamularishta is there. So whatever it is, so it will help. I don't know, okay, I don't take Dashamularishta if you ask them. This name came. I don't know. But something like that was given to me, I remember. So it is so bitter, so bitter. Anyway, so it depends. So similarly, Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, for you and person like you, Karma Yoga is better. Karma Yoga is safer than Karma Sannyasa. Why? Because if a person is doing little more Karma Yoga, even though he is ready for Sannyasa, it will not harm him. But if person is not ready for Sannyasa and he takes Sannyasa, it may be risky. So between this what is called long time treatment and this risky treatment, you should prefer long-term treatment. Because Karma Yoga may take little longer, but it is safe. Safety first. No, there is a principle. Safety first. So Karma Yoga is a safe path. If you are not ready, chances are there that you may have a fall. Therefore, Bhagavan said, Karma Yogo Vishishyate, Karma Sannyasat. And here we had seen in the last class, Sannyasa is of two types. Now begin with two types. Afterwards we'll add one more. Sannyasa, one is Vidvat Karma Sannyasa, renunciation of karma based on wisdom. That is Jnana Karma Sannyasa. And second is Ashrama Sannyasa, formal Sannyasa. So here Bhagavan is not telling Karma Yoga is better than Vidvat Karma Sannyasa. Vidvat Karma Sannyasa is the goal of Karma Yoga and formal Sannyasa. Therefore, Sannyasa here refers to formal Sannyasa. Compared to formal Sannyasa, Karma Yoga is better. And here one commentator writes, Karma Sannyasa means the renunciation of karma done by a person who is not yet dispassionate, who is not yet ready. Compared to sannyasa by unprepared person, Karma Yoga is better. Because it is safe. And thus, Bhagavan gave one answer. Arjuna wanted one answer. Bhagavan said, one answer you want, this is the answer. Which Arjuna might not have liked. Because Arjuna wanted Bhagavan to tell, if you want to take sannyasa, sannyasa also is good. Because Bhagavan said both. So Arjuna said both, then I will like sannyasa. Therefore Bhagavan did not allow Arjuna to run away. He said, Karma Yoga is better than Karma Sannyasa. Alright. Now, somebody may ask this question, that how can you say that karma and sannyasa both are the means for moksha? Because we have heard that karma is bandha karanam. Karma is the cause for bandha. Kruti mahodadho patana karanam phalama shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Karma is leading to bondage. How can you say karma is the means for moksha? And you are saying karma is better than sannyasa? Sannyasa means being free from karma, which is binding. So being free from binding karma, how can it be inferior compared to doing karma? So how Karma Yoga can become the means for moksha? And how can it be superior to this formal sannyasa? That possible question is answered in the next shloka. Neyasya nitya sannyasi yo nadveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. So Bhagavan is telling what is the spirit of sannyasa. And spirit of sannyasa is more important than formal sannyasa. Formal sannyasa means giving up the duties, possessions and changing the dress, changing even name. That is called formal sannyasa. And other is spirit-wise sannyasa. So Bhagavan wants to give the message, Karma Yogi, real Karma Yogi is spirit-wise sannyasi. And spirit-wise sannyasi is better than formal sannyasi without preparedness. So if person has got preparedness and taken sannyasa, it's very good. But if person is not prepared and only taken sannyasa, then compared to them, Karma Yogi is better. In fact, Karma Yogi has got spirit of sannyasa. And what is the spirit of sannyasa? Vairagyam. Not having raga dvesha is the spirit of sannyasa. Real sannyasi is the one who doesn't have raga for anyone, oh, this is my brother-in-law, this is my son-in-law, this something. So many people after sannyas also they continue to have ragadvesha for people, some places. Then it is not spirit of sannyasa. Sannyasa spirit is not having raga for someone, not having dvesha for someone. So vairagyam is the spirit of sannyasa. And so Bhagavan wants to say that Karma Yogi is having the spirit of sannyasa, therefore he is sannyasi permanently, permanent sannyasi. Not that he becomes sannyasi after changing the dress. Karma Yogi is sannyasi now itself. And therefore Arjuna, if you have so much value for sannyasa, then you have spirit-wise sannyasa. Spirit-wise sannyasa is better than formal sannyasa without spirit. So the Karma Yoga is better than the spiritless formal sannyasa. Thus, Bhagavan is highlighting Karma Yoga, is glorifying Karma Yoga by equating Karma Yogi to sannyasi. The Karma Yogi is Nitya sannyasi, is permanent sannyasi, permanent renunciate. But what happens? Our mind has got more value for the forms and more than spirit. We have more value to look good than becoming good. We have more value for looking healthy than becoming healthy. I should look very healthy, all my cheeks and all will be shining and all this. That I should look healthy. Whether I am healthy doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That one president of America, Kennedy, he had great value for looking healthy. And therefore he used to tell doctor, you give this injection, that injection, so that he should look healthy, young, so that people will vote. And he died. He died because of other reasons, but he became more and more sick. Doctor had to tell that now we cannot give further. So that is what people have value. That I should look scholar. Not that I become knowledgeable. That is not there. I should look scholar. I should look sincere. So that when people are there, I go and sit in meditation. And I see that people are coming, I don't get up. Why? The people should know that I am a meditator. Even though I was thinking to get up, but when people are coming, I sit little longer. That is the value. So we have to introspect. Whether we have value for having the qualities, virtues, or we want to look virtuous. So Bhagavan is highlighting that Arjuna, don't go after formal sannyasa. You try to have the spirit of sannyasa. Of course, if you have got spirit of sannyasa and formal sannyasa, both are there, wonderful. So there are 4 possibilities. Let us analyze. What are the possibilities? A person has got formal sannyasa and spirit-wise sannyasa. Means he is formally sannyasi and he is free from ragadveshas. Double graduate. He is sannyasi, formal sannyasi and spirit-wise sannyasi. That is the best. Both he has. Second one is, he has got formal sannyasa but lacking in spirit of sannyasa. Somehow he took sannyasa. In Karnataka there was some sampradaya, they give sannyasa at very early age. At the age of 9, 10, then one Swami had to renounce sannyasa. Sannyasa of sannyasa. So and I liked it. He admitted that is a wrong practice. So this ashram required and some relatives is there and they give sannyasa. It's not correct. So that type of situation where externally person is having sannyasa, internally lot of ragadvesha. waiting for people to come, waiting for people to bring nice food, etc. So, spirit-wise, those sannyasa. Second possibility. Third possibility is what? Formally not sannyasi. Formal sannyasa is not there, but spirit-wise sannyasa is there. Dress is not orange, but heart is orange. Orange means what? Sacrifice. Orange stands for fire. Fire stands for burning all ragadveshas. Heart is orange. In a literal, no, don't take literally. Swami, heart becomes orange. If heart becomes orange, it's very dangerous. So don't. So, spirit-wise sannyasa is there. So that is third possibility. Formally no sannyasa, wearing pant shirt. In blue jeans also perhaps wearing. But inside there is ragadveshas are not there. That is third possibility. Fourth possibility is what? Internally also no sannyasa, externally also no sannyasa. Highly passionate in spirit and so active. No question of sannyasa. If you tell or talk about sannyasa is useless. All sannyasis are burden to the society. That is their thinking. Swami Chinmayanji in his Purvashrama, he was against this sannyasi. In fact, he went to Rishikesh to take the interview to expose sannyasis. That was his spirit. But then he came in contact with Shivanandaji and he saw that, really great. Then he was converted. Otherwise he was against. There are people who think that sannyasis are burden. Especially if they have come from a very, good career or good education background. They will say that this person spoiled. He deprived one person of engineering seat. Because he took engineering. And afterwards he did not practice engineering and he left it. So he should not have, if he didn't want to do that, he didn't want to pursue engineering, he should not have taken seat. At least one more person would have got it. So they say like this. So idea is that this person is neither having spirit of sannyasa nor having formal sannyasa. These are the four possibilities. In that, first one, I hope you remember. First one is what? Internal and external both. He is better than number 2, number 3. 4 of course, better than 4. The best. Now there is a comparison only between second and third. First is the best. Both internal and external both are there. Very good. Second and third. The second is what? He is externally sannyasi. Internal sannyasa is not there. Third is, internal is there, external is not there. So what Bhagavan is highlighting here, that option number 3 is better than option number 2. Internal sannyasa, even though there is no external sannyasa, that situation is better than external sannyasa without having internal sannyasa. And that is what was said, karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. And here in this shloka Bhagavan is telling, this internal sannyasa makes karma yogi nitya sannyasi. So why karma yogi is nitya sannyasi? Because he has got the spirit of sannyasa. A person is really rich. That is what matters. He doesn't look rich, how does it matter? He doesn't look rich, but he is rich. In fact, that is good. So nobody will come for donation, And not only donation, I tell you, I recently, some months ago, I had read this, that one person in Kerala got lottery. And moment that news came, so many organizations, so many people started coming for donation, help. And that person, it became so much a trouble that he had to leave the place. So sometimes looking, rich may not be necessary, may be a problem also. Spirit-wise sannyasa. Spirit-wise, this richness, inner richness, that is what is important. So here, Bhagavan is telling, karma yogi who is Spirit-wise sannyasi is Nitya sannyasi. So Bhagavan is giving now the third type of sannyasa. What? Spirit-wise sannyasi. So one is Dana Karma sannyasa, second is Ashrama sannyasa, and third is Spirit-wise sannyasa. What is Spirit-wise sannyasa? Being free from the control of ragadveshas, likes and dislikes. Not coming under the spell of ragadvesha, that is the spirit of sannyasa. That is what is said here. Neyaha saha nitya sannyasi. Saha, that karma yogi. Neyaha, should be known, should be understood as what? Nitya sannyasi. Permanent sannyasi, permanent renunciate. Who is he? Yaha, one who, this karma yogi, na dveshti, does not hate, na kankshati, does not crave for something. Means, karma yogi who does not have dvesha or raga. I don't like to do this. Even though I am supposed to do this, don't like to do this. That type of dvesha is not there. For karma there is no dvesha, karma phala also there is no dvesha. I worked so hard and I got only this much. When somebody sent some picture or something some years ago, and I say it is good, nice, something like that. Then that person said, this much only, Means what? I sent such a great picture and all, and he only said 2-3 words, that's all. So this is called this, I deserve more. Not this much, I deserve more. Ye dil mange more. This much is not enough. Karma yogi is the one who does not hate any outcome. We have seen there are 4 possibilities: equal to expectation, more than expectation, less than expectation, opposite to expectation. He does not hate any karma, he does not hate any karma phala. Or in other words, he does not hate dukkha or dukkha sadhana. Dukkha is a part of life. Nobody can have uniform experience. Even though person may be laughing so much, in fact sometimes the people who laugh too much, they have got deeper pain. They are trying to cover with that laughter. That's a possibility. So, pain is bound to be there. As happiness is bound to be there, some joy also will be there. There is no person in this world who does not have joy at all, at any time. Right now he may not have, but once upon a time he had, and in future it will be there. And therefore sukha and dukkha are bound to be there. But the karma yogi is one, na dveshti dukkham dukkha sadhanam. I hate this fellow. Why? Because the day I see him, no, I don't get food. So in Hindi there is बिल्कुल खाना नहीं मिलता है उसको देखने से. So I hate this fellow. That is not there. Really speaking, nobody is responsible for your not getting food. That day you had upavasa prarabdha of fasting. Therefore what? It will not happen. So, na dveshti and na kankshati. He does not crave or insist for particular situation of pleasure. I crave for that party, I crave for that association with that person, that situation. He does not have crave. Yes, if something pleasant comes, I welcome. If you go to the dining hall and a nice sweet is there, you eat it. It is not that on the sweet I do the abhishek of sambar, rasam and then only I will take. Don't do that. You enjoy sweet. Nothing wrong. Some people they put everything in one vessel and they put it in the river. In those days some sannyasi used to do it. It has got some purpose. They will put all food, roti, sabji, etc. in one cloth, bag like thing. And they will put it in Gangaji and then take out. And then they will eat. We need not do it. Yeah, if you are too much after taste, you have to do it. This also you have to do it. Some people know if they don't get pickle, they I have seen that here in South India for curd rice pickle is a must. In fact, sometimes our cook used to make some good pickles. So one person told, I am taking as much as vegetable I take, So pickle and vegetable same quantity. Pickle priyaha. So yeah. So in such situation, you please do it. Something like that. Not exactly that, but something like that. But otherwise, you welcome pleasant situation as you welcome unpleasant situation. Na dveshti na kankshati means he does not resist the unpleasant situation and he does not crave for or insist on pleasant situation. Na dveshti na kankshati. Such a karma yogi, even though he is in action, he is doing the action, but he should be considered to be nitya sannyasi. Whereas other person becomes sannyasi after changing the dress. Whereas this person now itself, even while doing the action, he is permanent sannyasi. And why he is nitya sannyasi and glorified? Because He Mahabaho, He Arjuna, Nirdvandvaha, a person who is free from the pairs of opposite, Bandhat Prabhutyate, is released from the bondage, Sukham, comfortably. So Nirdvandvaha, Nirdvandvaha means one who is free from the pairs of opposite. Now, if we take this word literally, it is not possible. You cannot have this complete freedom from the pairs of opposite. Pairs of opposite means what? Cold, heat. Can you be all the time free? Not possible. Sometime hot it will be, sometime cold it will be. Even Chennai, they have got little hot and hotter, hottest, hot, hotter, hottest. There also some change will be there. That's why in May, June people go out. Because it's very hot. And in some season, December, it is very good. Therefore, Kacheri is there. No, cold season, little bit cold. Not that fully cold. Little less hot. So, pairs of opposite are bound to be there. Respect and disrespect, bound to be there. However good you are, still there will be some people who will be hostile to you. Benjamin Franklin said nicely. He said that some people who say that I am such a good person, then why the world is harassing me? It is something like that a vegetarian is complaining that why this bull is attacking me. Bull doesn't see that you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Only non-vegetarian he will kill or he will attack. Bull doesn't have that discrimination. So its nature is to attack. Similarly, some people are given to those wrong tendencies, so they will be harming, they will be criticizing. They don't see whether you are good or not. They are used to see fault, defects in others. And nobody can claim to be completely free from defect. In this hall, is there anybody who can say, Swamiji, I don't have any defect? Is there anybody? Is there anybody who can say, Swamiji, I don't have a single defect? No problem physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, no defect at all. Is there any person? Nobody. If is there, I would like to see that. I will do namaskara. I always say this. I like to do namaskara because I myself don't have that. I am also having some defects as a person. As Brahman, I am Nitya Mukta Purna. But Upadhi wise, there are defects. So, there will be people who will highlight your defects. So, Nirdvandvaha does not mean you will be physically free from pairs of opposite. You will be respected, you will be disrespected. Even however this the humble background person has. But when he goes to his father-in-law's house, then he said, our son-in-law has come. What they call in Tamil? Son-in-law? Mamlai. Maplai. Maplai banda cha. Maplai banda. So the son-in-law has come. So he'll be given, nice cot to sit on. So he's given. Even though he is insulted by so many, but he has got some place where he is respected. And however great person he is the president of America, but his wife is saying, you can't eat this, don't eat this. George Bush had this problem. So his wife will not allow him to eat whatever he wants. So when she goes out, he will eat. So it is about that. However great you are, there is always somebody to say, sit down. Keep quiet. Chumma irku. So chumma iri. So there will be always somebody. In fact, nice to have somebody like that. Who keeps telling, Puja Swamiji says, very nicely he used to say, he said, why do you get married? To have somebody to tell you. Didn't I tell you? There will always somebody to criticize. Didn't I tell you that you should not do so? You did it. So you had it. Now you have it. It is bound to happen. Don't expect that everybody will be conducive to you. Everybody will be respectful to you. No. Nobody I have seen in my life who was respected and respected alone by everybody. I have not seen. There are some people who will be respecting, more people will be respecting, but there will be somebody who will not respect him. Shankaracharya ji was not. Swami Chinmayanand ji or Puja Swami ji, there were people who were against. It's not that they were greater, therefore nobody was against. There were people. And therefore, completely free from the pairs of opposite, don't expect that. It is like a chasing horizon. That will never be there. Then what is the meaning of being free from pairs of opposite? So here these commentator says, Samaha, remaining equanimous, free from reaction, harsha vishada rahitaha, that is called nirdvandvaha. Pairs of opposite are bound to be there, but my response to the pairs of opposite can be more or less equal. So remaining more or less equal to pairs of opposite, that is called nirdvandvaha. So pairs of opposite come, but they do not create any elation or depression. The best example is Bhagavan Ramchandra. When he was told that tomorrow you are going to become the king of Ayodhya, okay, get ready. There is some readiness, we have to do upvasa and all. Okay, get ready. And evening they said, no, little bit change is there. What? Instead of becoming the king of Ayodhya, you will be sent to the forest for 14 years. So fine. That written, it is written in Ramayana that there was no change at all on face of Rama. That's what it is. Rama continued to be equanimous. That is called nirdvandvaha. That is in your hand. Pairs of opposites are not completely in your hand. Weather should be hot or cold is not complete in your hand. People should be respectful or disrespectful is not in your hand. But this is in your hand. So always focus on what is in your hand. People generally waste their energy on changing something which is out of their area of influence. You work on those things which are within your area of influence. I hope you know what is area of influence means. Within what you have some control, you have some say over the matter. There you work. Instead of trying to change something which cannot be changed, which is not in your hand. Like, you cannot make the earth, the entire earth, free from dust. But you can wear shoes. You can wear shoes. That is in your hand. If you wear shoes, Even though earth is having this dust, etc., it doesn't matter. So, we should have that type of approach. Instead of trying to control others, you see that where you can change. But generally I have seen whenever people come with complaints, I try to show that, see, you also have contribution to this particular problem. Person is not ready to listen. When I say like this, you are taking the side of other person. But when that person comes to that person also, I will tell that, see, you have contribution. But I have seen most of the people don't have that objectivity. They want to hear what he is wrong, you are right. They want me to say that. And I will say, yes, that person also has done, but you see, you also have contribution. And generally people don't see their contribution in creation of problem. In creation of success, they see their contribution. Even a little bit is there, will show it big. But when something goes wrong, people will say, I did not do anything. He only did it. She only did it. Then you don't grow in your life. Growth is not by changing the world. Growth is by changing one's own attitude. That is where the growth is. But unfortunately, I have seen most of the people, they don't like when I say like this. They always want to hear what? They are wrong. Swamiji, you say they are wrong. You change him. Swamiji, you tell him he should not do like this. But I said, I have said to you also I will tell. I will tell him what he has to do. Husband and wife, they come, then wife comes generally first because husband doesn't come. So, I tell the wife, that lady, that, see, you need to change, You are a little bit too nagging. So, you need to reduce it, And when husband comes, I will tell him, you be more considerate, I try to understand her feelings. Don't just snub her or that she doesn't understand all this. That's not proper. So, you have to understand what you have to do. Focus on your role rather than trying to control and trying to change others. That is called Nirdvandvaha. So, Nirdvandvaha means becoming free from this reactive mode, Harsha Vishada Rahitaha. And that is what Karma Yogi is. Karma Yogi is Nirdvandvaha. Why? Because he has got Prasada Buddhi. Today my wife smiled at me, Prasada. Today she frowned at me, Prasada. Both are Prasada. Today she is indifferent, she is lost in her thoughts, Prasada. So, Nirdvandvaha. Otherwise she smiled or something, then I am so elated. And she today frowning, or he is frowning, therefore I am depressed. Then you are allowing the world to control yourself. So Nirdvandvaha means free from reaction because of Prasada Buddhi. The attitude Prasada. Today this fellow shouted, that is a shouting Prasada. And today smile Prasada. So you see, he smiled. Smile Prasada. Today is indifference Prasada. Hola Prasada. So this Nirdvandvaha Pramuchyate is released from the bondage of samsara. How? Jnana Dwara. So that person who is prepared, Jnanam will be very, very easy. Sukham, very comfortably. Jnana Yoga will be like a walkover. Easily he will get knowledge. And therefore Sukham Bandhat, because he is ready. When a person is ready, Jnanam does not take much time. Therefore, Sukham Bandhat Pramuchyate. Through knowledge, person is released from the bondage. More we will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.